Tanya for the 21st of but first the story. There was once a businessman whose name is identified as Shimon in the story recorded by Shivcha Baal Shem Tov. He was a merchant. And he had business to do in a particular city. It was a very dangerous road, a highway that traveled between the city that he was in and the city where he wanted to do business. And he had a tremendous amount of merchandise. He didn't know what to do, and he knew he's going to go along this road, the highway. He's going to get robbed, and everything's going to get taken away. He didn't know what to do. One of his friends told him the Baal Shem Tov is planning to travel the same highway soon. Wait for the Baal Shem Tov to travel along the highway, and then you travel along with him. That's your best chance of making it safely with all your merchandise. So Shimon thought it was a great idea, and he waited. And he learned that the Baal Shem Tov, when the Baal Shem Tov was planning to go, and he went to the Baal Shem Tov and he asked the Baal Shem Tov, would it be possible that when the Baal Shem Tov travels, if I travel with all my merchandise behind the Baal Shem Tov's wagon? And the Baal Shem Tov said, why not? Sure. So it came the day when the Baal Shem Tov was going to be traveling. He took all his merchandise to travel behind the Baal Shem Tov, and he started traveling. And sure enough, no, everyone left him alone. But as they started approaching the section of the highway that was most dangerous, where the robbers and thieves really hung out, the Baal Shem Tov suddenly stopped the wagon and he asked what's going on, and the Baal Shem Tov said the horses are hungry. So the man told the Baal Shem Tov, "This is the worst part of the highway. It's not a place to stop." Baal Shem Tov said, "Was stopping. The horses are hungry." He told the wagon driver to take the horses disconnect them from the wagons, bring them to some place where they could eat as much food and grass as they're able to do. We're not moving. And so they stopped, and Shimon stopped behind. They didn't know what to do. And the Baal Shem Tov, meanwhile, sat down and began learning Zohar. And Shimon is terrified. He doesn't know what to do. He's trying to convince the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov is not moving. The Baal Shem Tov says the horses are hungry. And at some point, the highwaymen, the thieves, realize that there's a wagon filled with stuff. They start creeping up to steal from the Baal Shem Tov, from the wagon behind the Baal Shem Tov, and they don't do anything. They're too scared to attack. And they wait. And finally, the driver arrives back with the horses. He connects it back to the Baal Shem Tov's wagons. And now the Baal Shem Tov says, okay, now we're ready to go. They go and they continue going slowly through the forest. And again, the thieves and the robbers try to come and attack, but again they just stop. They're unable to fortify themselves to be able to attack the wagon, and they finally make their way out of the forest completely safe. And when they were out of danger, the Shimon rushed up to the Baal Shem Tov and told the Baal Shem Tov, "Now I know your true greatness. Until now, I didn't realize." The Baal Shem Tov says, "You think you know me already? I don't even know myself." The Tanya so far is letter number 7, and we're beginning with Ashreinu Matov Chakenu Manoim Garlenu. We're comparing the Hashem and Hashem connection to us as a portion, as a lot. And of course, that's a very seemingly troubling and also a very difficult thing to understand. Why are we comparing this to portion and a lot? And we're going to talk about both of those. Start off with Chalkenu, and then we'll talk about Garelenu. Ashreinu Matov Chalkenu Umanoim Garelenu Chulu Hashem Manos Chalki V'Chaysi V'Gaima Chavalim Nafel Im V'Gaima. We see different places and verses where we're describing how good is our portion, how pleasant is our lot. Hashem is our portion, and we talk about Hashem is our portioned lot that's fallen to us in a pleasant way, etc. We're seeing that Hashem is described as a lot. To understand this language that we're using, portion and a lot. If you want to understand that, we need to first explain when the rabbis say that a person has gone against Hashem, it says he has no part, no portion in the God of the Jewish people. What does that mean? Since when is Hashem divided into portions, into parts? Firstly, it's very strange to say that that a portion could be applied to Hashem. Hashem isn't divisible into parts. That's literally the fundamental of Jewish belief, that Hashem is one. Hashem is not made up of parts or multiplicity. Chas v'shalom. So why do we keep talking about Hashem as a lot, as a portion, as divisible seemingly? This person has no portion. What do you mean portion? Hashem doesn't have divisions or sections. In order to understand this, we need to first understand something else. It's written about Yaakov. Yaakov made a mizbeach. Vayikra lo Kel Elokei Yisrael, and he called him Kel, the God of Israel. And the question is, number one, why is he saying the God of Israel? He's not calling him God of Yaakov. And also, what does this have to do with the mizbeach that Yaakov set up? Pirush. Ki hagam ba'emes HaKodesh Baruch Hu kishmei keinu. Now, the Alter Rebbe says, if you want to understand this, we need to first talk about Hashem and Hashem's name. When we talk about Hashem, HaKodesh Baruch Hu, Hashem is holy. Kishmei keinu. Hashem's name is Himself. Ki after iyum amalek amim elyon v'tatayim merum amalis ad metachas haaretz al azur hachomis. K'mo shekasav alois shmam v'sa'aretz animali anima mishtahayim mohus v'atzmus k'viyach v'lei k'vaydim levad. So when we say that Hashem feels the worlds, Hashem is literally absolutely everywhere. Hashem feels the heavens, Hashem feels the earth. And we're not just talking about Hashem's glory that feels it. Hashem quite literally feels absolutely everywhere. So on the one hand, you have the fact that Hashem is absolutely everywhere, filling absolutely everything. Nonetheless, about Hashem, who Kaddish and Mufta B'Yanim V'Tatayim V'Ein Nifes Klal B'Tzoichem Chas V'Shalom K'Tfisas Nishamas Nishmas HaGuf B'Guf V'Yaderech Mashal K'Mashu V'Yim Makmach B'Yechos. Nonetheless, even though Hashem is absolutely everywhere, you can't say that Hashem is actually downloadable into this world. Hashem's not downloadable. Hashem's not within distance of this world or connection or relativity to this world. Chas V'Shalom. The same way the soul is able to come into the body, yes, the soul's much greater. We can't say that by Hashem, though. Hashem is not just way greater than the world, like the soul is way greater than the body, and yet has some relativity because the soul does connect to the body. You can't say that by Hashem. Hashem's not within any degree of metric or relativity to this world. Hashem's entirely higher. So you have this dual paradox. You have this paradox where, on the one hand, Hashem is everywhere and absolutely everything in this world. On the other hand, you can't connect Hashem to this world. Hashem's entirely above it. And because Hashem is so apart from the world, we can't receive Hashem's energy directly. His essence in this world, everything would blow to bits. It's way too high. So what happens? Hashem has to contract his energy, and what happens is the radiation that comes into this world is, so to speak, not coming from Hashem. It's a radiation. Number one, so it's light that comes away from Hashem's name. Shahu Shmei Echad. Hashem and His name are one. Even His name, Hashem's name is exalted, is elevated. Only Hashem's radiation is reflected into this, into the world and into the earth. And so what happens is that Hashem's energy is radiating from Hashem's name, and from that it then gets broken down, contraction after contraction, until it's finally appropriate and able to arrive in this world in a healthy way that it actually can have connection to this world. And even when it goes down to this world, it goes in a massive ladder or a massive chain of degrees, each one a cause connected to effect, connected to a cause, connected to effect, broken down so many times until it's finally into this world. To summarize, we're just starting an idea. We're starting off with a whole bunch of questions about how can we talk about Hashem being a portion or having a portion within Hashem. What does that even mean? And then we spoke about this paradox. On the one hand, Hashem is absolutely everywhere. Hashem is filling absolutely everything, and literally it's Hashem filling everything. On the other hand, were Hashem to fill everything, Hashem's energy would blow everything apart. So what is it? Then Hashem has His name, which is connected to Himself, and from the name radiates energy, and from that radiating energy from Hashem's name, it's then broken up over and over and over again until finally it's suitable to come into this world. Thank you so much for joining the Tanya. Tanya's little Nishma Safer, Eliezer ben Yamin Alevi, Moshe Aaron Akaim ben Yosef, Reuven ben Emmanuel, Aaron ben Avraham, Esther Basar Moshe Mordechai Simcha Tzvi Bashana Rezi Eliyahu Moshe ben Akaim, Sarach Miriam Bas Chaim ben Yamin Chaim Moshe Bashim ben Avraham, and Fusham ben Yaakov ben Aaron ben Nasbat Alad Caleb Chaim ben Shabracha, Moshe ben Esther ben Achmad ben Edo Leah Bas Yana, and Yosef ben Shtan Zayin, anyone else needs for Shlema, sisters of all the Jews around the world, especially as the United States, sisters, soldiers to defend the Jewish people, and speedy coming Mashiach. Have a wonderful and very successful day. Thanks so much for joining.